Hello, 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 and welcome to your weekly good stuff showing. That's right, it's gonna be some good old Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 1. So, this week we are just past the Eyrie, and we're going to be continuing into what I mostly consider to be about the middle part of Heaven's Ward. There's a good amount of stuff that happens, and I was really excited about this portion of the game when I got there because I absolutely love dragon-related stuff. So Heaven's Ward was a treat for me. But besides that, I hope you guys have all been enjoying. I love hearing from you guys about what you think about the series. So thank you so much for being excited for it. As always, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell if you want to keep up on these videos, and press the like button if you enjoy it. Otherwise, we'll get started now. Nidhogg, that incarnation of rage who had tormented the people of Ishgard for nigh on 1,000 years, was dead. The Dragon Song's beginnings. His remaining eye a trophy for the Azure Dragon, as he looked on his triumphant ally, the Warrior of Light was treated to another vision of the past through the power of the Echo. He bore witness to the aftermath of another battle with Nidhogg long ago, in which Haldrath, son of the fallen King Thordan I, and his surviving knights, claimed the Dreadworm's two eyes. But unlike his father, Haldrath lamented the dark deeds which were done that day, and so he forswore the throne and embarked upon a journey to repent for his sins. Others followed his example, renouncing Thordan's legacy, and when all was said and done, 4 knights remained. 4 knights who would found the 4 great houses of Ishgard, Tom, Halinart, Durandare, and Zmael. Together they would shape their nation with a history of their own making, and consign the bitter truth of their betrayal to oblivion. The Warrior of Light shared this revelation with his companion, who, though greatly troubled, had no choice but to accept it as immutable truth. Yet from these answers rose another question. For if Haldrath had taken with him one of Nidhogg's 2 eyes and entrusted the second to the founders of Ishgard, then whence came this third eye which Justinian had claimed but moments ago? In search of answers, the pair returned to Zenith, where Eorzea yet lingered, unable to come to terms with the magnitude of her self-deception. They summoned Hraesvelgr once more, who reclaimed the third eye as his own. Once more, by the power of the Echo, the Warrior of Light was made to know the truth, the beginning of 1,000-year torment. Bereft of his eyes and howling with rage for the murdered Ratatosk, Nidhogg decried Hraesvelgr for placing his faith in man for the love of Sheba. He beseeched his brood brother for the strength to punish the murderers and every child of their line, and with it began the terrible vengeance which consumed him until his dying breath. Hraesvelgr confirmed that the Warrior of Light had seen, that he had helped condemn the people of Ishgard to an eternity of suffering. Though the truth of the Dragonsong War's beginnings had at last been laid bare, the adventurer and his companions found no solace in the knowledge. Unrest in Ishgard. Alas, Nidhogg's death did not mark the end of Ishgard's troubles. As the party reflected upon the many truths they had learned, Sir Aymeric contracted Justinian via Link Pearl to inform them that heretics had infiltrated the capital and begun an uprising within its walls. Joined by Eorzea, who had no knowledge of her people's plans, the party returned to Ishgard and sought to bring a peaceful end to the senseless destruction. Chaos reigned in the streets as fires raged and the heretics cried for blood, but heedless of the danger, the Warrior of Light and his companions pushed on, until they met with the vanguard of the advancing mob. Eorzea stood before them and delivered an impassioned speech, declaring Nidhogg and his quest for vengeance to be dead, and imploring her people to go in peace. Though they heeded her words and thereafter quit the city, tensions remained high in the wake of their assault. At Tom's Manor, the Warrior of Light and his companions revealed to their Ishgardian allies the sordid origins of the Dragonsong War. Unsurprisingly, all were troubled by the revelation that the Ishgardian faith was built upon a lie. Moreover, as the structure of Ishgardian society presupposed a stark difference between the origins of the lowborn and highborn, the fact that all Ishgardians could trace their ancestry to the surviving Knights 12 threatened to undermine the foundations of their class structure. Overcome with emotion, Sir Aymeric declared that these lies could not be suffered to continue, for Assail would share the truth with her followers, and the Holy See would be powerless to stop its spread. No longer ruled by a common fear of the dragons, the lowborn and highborn would be free to turn on one another. The disenfranchised would rise up, united, and blood would flow in the streets once more. Sir Aymeric fervently believed that Ishgard could only be saved by revealing the truth and striving for fundamental change. To that end, he left to confront the Archbishop alone, despite the other's warnings that he was certain to be branded a heretic for his trouble. Though all present were doubtful as to the wisdom of Sir Aymeric's plan, Lucia was determined to support her commander. However, she also professed that should he fail to return from the Holy Vault, she would not hesitate to marshal forces to set him free. The Warrior of Light, Alphinaud, Estinian, and Lord Haurchefant all agreed that should the worst come to the worst, they too would join in his rescue. A Knight's Calling. Having seen the determination writ upon the faces of those around him, Lord Edmont pledged the support of House Fortam to Lucia's plans. Alas, even with an army of knights at their disposal, a direct assault on the vault would be fruitless. However, there was one other faction whose aid would prove invaluable to their cause. A group of lowborn revolutionaries, headquartered in the Broom, that would doubtless be eager to see the established order overturned. Alphinaud and the Warrior of Light made their way to the lowest levels of Foundation and asked after the revolutionaries and their elusive leader, the Mongrel. Though the locals were not wont to speak freely of the group, the party's efforts eventually bore fruit, and they were granted an opportunity to plead their case at a private meeting in the Forgotten Night. As Alphinaud attempted to win the revolutionaries' cooperation, seemingly in vain, Sir Charibert, a knight of the Heaven's Ward, strode into the tavern, accusing all present of plotting insurrection. With no recourse left to them, the Warrior of Light and the others stepped outside to confront the knight and his men, and soon St. Valeriant's Forum was transformed into a bloody battlefield. Joined by Lord Haurchefant and Lucia, the Warrior of Light and his comrades managed to overwhelm Sir Charibert, who withdrew. However, the joy of victory soon faded when they learned that Sir Aymeric had been imprisoned, and the Heaven's Ward placed in command of the Temple Knights. Clearly, they could wait no longer to act. Lucia's plan to rescue Sir Aymeric hinged upon luring the bulk of Ishgard's defenders out of the city. Correctly deducing that the revolutionaries had recruited knights in service to the high houses, she bade Hilda help by ordering these sympathizers to spread word of a heretic army massing outside the gates of judgment, and the revolutionaries' leader agreed. At last, the assault on the vault could proceed. While Lucia and Lord Haurchefant led a party into the jail beneath the vault to free Sir Aymeric, the Warrior of Light and his men aimed for the highest levels and attempted to capture Archbishop Thordan VII. After facing wave after wave of Temple Knights and the Heaven's Ward besides, the adventurer and his allies stood at the pinnacle of the vault, unbowed. Unable to repel their advance, Sir Zephyrin ordered a full retreat, and the Warrior of Light gave chase. Rejoined by Lucia's party and a wounded Sir Aymeric, he pursued Thordan VII, finally catching up with him as he prepared to board an airship and escape. The Warrior of Light rushed headlong towards the vessel, but in his haste to apprehend his quarry, he failed to notice a transformed Sir Zephyrin taking aim, a spear of pure light in his hand. Alert to the danger, Lord Haurchefant bellowed a warning and raised his shield in the Warrior of Light's defense, but the steel gave way, and the spear found a mark. The airship forgotten, the allies surrounded Lord Haurchefant, who lay upon the ground struggling to breathe. As Sir Aymeric cradled him in his arms, the fallen knight looked to the Warrior of Light with a mixture of agony and relief, and bade him favor him with a smile before the light left his eyes forever. Key to Azisla. The Warrior of Light and the others reflected upon the unnatural powers demonstrated by the Knights of the Heaven's Ward, and ultimately concluded that the Knights must have used their own bodies as vessels for the souls of the legendary King Thorin and his Knights 12, much as Asael had for Saint Shiva. Though Aymeric knew not his father's plans, or the significance of Azisla, a mysterious land of which the Archbishop was heard to speak before fleeing, he declared that the Archbishop and the Heaven's Ward must be stopped, and implored the Scions of the Seventh Dawn to help bring his father to justice. Alphinaud answered his request by stating that if the Heaven's Ward had indeed harnessed primal powers, it was the duty of the remaining Scions to oppose them. So began the hunt for the Soleil, the Archbishop's personal airship. Once more the Warrior of Light and Alphinaud turned to Cid Garland, who, with the Enterprise, delivered them to the northern reaches of the Sea of Clouds, where the Soleil had last been seen. There, the party made contact with Vanu Vanu of the Zundu tribe, who revealed to them that the Archbishop had come in search of the key to Azisla, a land of forbidden secrets. However, their quest was complicated by the fact that Bismarck, the insatiable white whale that was the primal of the Vanu Vanu, had devoured the island upon which the key was kept. That they might deny the Archbishop his prize, Cid conceived a plan to lure out the ravenous primal by using the Enterprise to tow a small island through the Sea of Clouds. From this self-same island, the Warrior of Light then launched his offensive against Bismarck, and like so many before, the Lord of the Mists soon fell to his might. It was then that the Archbishop and the Asian Eorzea chose to reveal themselves. With her dark magics, the Asian effortlessly plucked the key from the Warrior of Light's grasp, despite the fact that he had managed to regain the Blessing of Light, albeit at a fraction of its former strength. The Archbishop raised the key aloft, and from it shone forth a beam of light which split the heavens, revealing the way to the legendary floating isle. The Warrior of Light could only watch, powerless, as the Archbishop and Eorzea then departed for Azisla. And that is where we wrap up for today. Getting very close to the end of 3.0 in one fell swoop. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave any comments or talking points down below the video. And I will see you guys next week for more. Remember that if you're interested in getting these right after they upload, you should subscribe to the Patreon, where I make sure to give the viewers at least a little bit of extra goodness every week. So until next week, I'll see you soon.